Hello, and welcome to this overview of the Cynet 360 platform. Cynet 360 Autonomous Breach Protection is the first security platform to combine extended detection and response, response automation, and full managed detection and response coverage in a single, unified offering. Let's look at the three components of the Cynet platform. Cynet Extended Detection and Response natively consolidates and orchestrates the key threat prevention and detection controls required to protect your organization. All of this protection is available out of the box, saving you the time and effort of purchasing, integrating, and managing multiple third-party solutions. Cynet Response Automation provides automated investigation and remediation capabilities to ensure threats are instantly and fully analyzed and eradicated. Cynet's unique incident engine consolidates related alerts into a single incident, automatically determining the root cause and full impact of the incident, and then fully remediates all the components of the threat. Finally, Cynet's Managed Detection and Response team continuously monitors our clients' environments to ensure that real threats are not overlooked. The team is available around the clock for client questions and guidance, file analysis, threat hunting, and more. In this video, we'll focus on the core components of the Cynet offering one by one. In practice, all the components work seamlessly together. Let's start with XDR attack prevention and detection. This is the Cynet dashboard. The first thing you notice is that Cynet provides full visibility into the entire environment. You can also see the four pillars of protection: files, users, hosts, and networks. The entire picture is brought together in a single pane of glass. Once Cynet is deployed, we have complete visibility into the environment using multiple view options. In this view, we see multiple scan groups. For each group, we can assign different policies, different customizations, different whitelist rules, and different enforcement actions. Zooming in, we see multiple colors. The green ones indicate real hosts that contain real files, such as this server 2016 under the domain controller. The orange ones refer to the deception hosts. Those are fake decoy hosts that don't actually exist in the environment. If a malicious attacker infiltrates the environment and scans the network, this is the picture they would see. So in this case, there's an 80% chance the attacker will choose a decoy host when trying to access the domain controller. We can adjust the decoy hosts along with the decoy users as well for when a malicious actor tries to move laterally using a different domain user. Moving on to the alert view, we see several different alert types as the platform monitors files, users, hosts, and network activities. One of the protection layers provided is next-gen antivirus. The antivirus protects the endpoint from malicious files that are dropped on the disk. For example, malicious files that are downloaded by the user will be immediately detected, such as this alert at the bottom. The antivirus controls contain AI models that are running on the actual endpoints, learning the unique behavior of every single endpoint. Looking more closely at this alert or other alerts, you'll be able to see the user, the host, and the actual file or process that was involved. On the right side, you can see the automated remediation that took place. But we know that AV is not enough. AV detects malicious files on a disk by taking the file's signature and making a decision whether it's good or bad. But antivirus generally doesn't work well for fileless attacks. For example, PowerShell attacks such as this one. Scrolling down, you can see useful metadata for what actually happened. For this alert, two things happened. First, the alert is displayed in the console and an email is also sent. Second, Cynet's 24/7 MDR team, which we call PsyOps, also received the alert. For these types of high-risk alerts, PsyOps will send the client a confirmation, which could be in the console, email, or phone call, depending on the client's policy, saying, "We have received this alert. Auto remediation was on. Do you need any assistance?" In this particular case, the PsyOps team provided additional value by automatically reverse engineering the binary in order to provide a better perspective of what might have happened due to this specific attack, even though it was blocked. As you can see in the first alert, the EDR detects anything that resides within the memory. For example, the EDR detects fileless attacks with living of the land binaries such as PowerShell or any other malicious binaries. Here's an example of how deception technology works with this alert. Deception Network, which essentially lures attackers to expose their presence on the network and ultimately have their efforts blocked. Beyond the AV, EDR, and deception capabilities in Cynet's XDR is the ability to detect network threats and user behavior anomalies. In this example, you can see the network alert responder, which is a man-in-the-middle tool that sniffs the network traffic and steals password hashes in order to move laterally between the machines. Scrolling up, we can see some of the example alerts generated by user behavioral analysis. It might be unusual for a certain user to log in during the weekend. Maybe we detect a remote access connection that might be unusual for a certain user. Now let's look at Cynet response automation capabilities. Cynet fully automates the entire response workflow, reducing manual effort and ensuring important response details and actions are not overlooked. Let's explore some of the response actions you can take both automatically and manually with the Cynet platform. Because the SIOPS team is proactively monitoring your environment, you know that nothing that is high risk will be overlooked. But if you want, you can also engage the SIOPS team directly through the console. There are several remediation actions you can perform directly from the Cynet console, such as delete or quarantine a file, kill a process, disable or enable a user, shut down a machine, isolate a machine, take a machine off the network while maintaining the communication back to Cynet's server, manipulate other services, schedule tasks, run commands, and run playbooks. The virus spread playbook, for example, would have multiple actions associated with it, such as kill the process, quarantine the file, isolate the machine, and maybe disable the user. We can create, customize, and fully automate each and every one of these playbooks. And let's look at the virus spread playbook. In this playbook, we've chosen to isolate host, USB block execute, and block SMB to disable the ability to jump between machines. There are many other operations that we can perform out of the box. A powerful capability within response automation is Cynet's incident engine. The incident engine automatically takes response actions after specific high-risk alerts to fully investigate the impact on an attack across the entire environment, determine the root cause of the attack, and take all necessary actions to remediate the attack. Everything is pulled together in an intuitive graphical interface. Instead of chasing after a barrage of alerts, the incident engine brings the entire responses workflow together in one logical view. Let's look at Cynet's incident engine in action. Looking first at alerts, we see the first alert is for a malicious process command, and we see that the infected file was wmic.exe. Many of us know that wmic.exe is a legitimate Microsoft Windows utility. Attackers use legitimate Windows tools because they're expected to be present in the environment. Cynet analyzed the behavior of this seemingly legitimate process and determined that this instance of wmic.exe is actually malicious, and it attempted to execute malicious code, so we terminated the process. This, in and of itself, is extremely valuable. And you might think that terminating this malicious file execution solved the problem, but this really isn't the case. We don't know if the attacker begins and ends with the malicious wmic.exe file, or if it's just part of a larger scale operation. We don't know how the file was executed in the first place, and we don't know the root cause or the scope. Until we know the root cause and the scope, we can't know whether the threat was fully eliminated. This kind of investigation takes time, takes skills, and takes effort, which many companies simply don't have. Let's look at Cynet's incidents view for a better approach. The incident view launches an automated investigation flow. When it has findings, it executes remediation actions. It asks a series of investigation questions. First, we ask if this process was able to execute any malicious files. And fortunately, we see that the answer is no. The process was terminated early enough. Then we ask, how was this malicious command executed in the first place? And we have a very interesting answer. We discover it was actually executed by a scheduled task. Now, a scheduled task is a legitimate Windows utility which is very commonly used, so security products normally won't trigger an alert when these tasks are created. Attackers know this as well, so many attacks are initiated by planting a scheduled task that may lay dormant for a while and then begin executing malicious files. In this case, it's the wmic.exe file. Here, we saved a lot of time because we know immediately that this malicious process was executed by a scheduled task. And this is our first finding. The root cause is the scheduled tasks. We immediately take a remediation action and delete the task from the host. If we only relied on the prevention layer, that scheduled task may have continued to execute malicious files, maybe several different files, hoping that one wouldn't be detected. Here, we got to the underlying root cause and deleted the scheduled task before this has the chance to happen. But it doesn't stop there. If I have this malicious task on one host, maybe it's made its way to other hosts. We ask if this same task can be found on other hosts, and we find that this scheduled task does exist on 2 additional machines. We automatically delete the scheduled tasks on these machines. Finally, we ask which was the first host to get infected, and see it was YIFTA PC4. And we also see that this machine communicated with the other infected hosts. It's important to note here that Cynet is able to do this because the platform has visibility into network traffic. We determine that this host was the root cause that delivered the scheduled task to the other hosts, so this machine is automatically isolated before any more damage could be done. If we look at the top bar, we have a summary of everything that took place. There's a description. The impact of this incident is 3 hosts. We see the root cause and the remediation actions, and I see that no immediate action is required. Cynet performed 5 automated investigation steps and 4 remediation actions. If you want to see a more detailed description of all the steps, you can do it through the timeline on the right side. In just a few minutes in the background, without you having to do anything, Cynet conducted a complete investigation and remediation process. This is autonomous breach protection. It means as a customer, you don't have to invest the time and effort required to fully investigate and resolve all aspects of a threat. The incident view, first and foremost, saved the considerable time and effort that would typically be required to fully investigate and remediate this incident across the organization. Second, it unveiled hidden threats that might have otherwise been overlooked, which is especially useful for organizations with limited cybersecurity expertise. And third, it automatically and quickly removed the threats before any damage could be done. With no configuration needed, Cynet automatically completed the full investigation and remediation while you continue to work as usual. Finally, let's look at Cynet's 24/7 MDR service provided by our SIOPS team of cybersecurity experts. SIOPS proactively monitors our clients' environments around the clock to ensure nothing is overlooked. The SIOPS team is always available to answer questions and provide guidance to our clients. As we showed earlier, you can engage the SIOPS team directly through the Cynet console. The SIOPS team often generates comprehensive reports in response to client questions. Let's explore an example report generated by the SIOPS team. This report is called 13 Seconds to Attack. Cynet investigated a blocked malicious activity which turned out to be malware that could compromise a single machine in 13 seconds. This type of report includes an executive summary, a high-level description of what occurred, and where the threat came from using non-technical language that you could share with your organization and C-level executives. Additionally, SIOPS provides various types of analysis and reverse engineering along with a description of the processes they followed to investigate the attack. Scrolling down, one of the most important pieces of information is here in the conclusions section. Here are the registry trees that might be involved in this specific attack. Here are the scheduled tasks that were involved. SIOPS might recommend remediating these scheduled tasks by searching for them in the console and then maybe automating the process of deleting the tasks through the console. SIOPS also shares the SHA-256 of the files that might have been dropped on a disk. Maybe we'll perform some threat hunting and find those files. And here are the domains that were communicated with. We can see if these domains are being accessed by other machines by doing a query across the organization and implementing a block through the console. What's shown here are the most important and time-consuming actions needed. The time and expertise required to investigate and remediate threats goes away as this service is automatically provided to all Cynet clients. I hope you enjoyed this Cynet 360 overview. If you would like to learn more about Cynet's autonomous breach protection or schedule a full one-on-one demo, please visit us at cynet.com.